Okay.
So just so we all know, guys, there's a little recording word at the top left of the screen. So that's how we know we're all recording. And we do make sure we record all of our teacher meetings for the benefit of teachers who are not able to make it live, or if you need to come back and watch it at some point during the week, because there's a lot that happens on these meetings, and we want to make sure that everybody's in the loop and on the same page. So with that, I'm so excited to welcome everybody to our teacher kickoff meeting for Mad About Mattering 2018. This is the third year, actually, that we're going to be doing this project, and Vicki has been an amazing pillar and cornerstone of this project since the very beginning. It was her idea and concept of, hey, I've been doing app development in my classroom with my kids. Now we need to be doing this with kids around the country, around the world. Let's figure out how to connect kids and build apps collaboratively across classroom walls and beyond classroom walls. So Vicki is here with us, but I did want to mention a private and confidential update between all of us. We are going to be very close-knit over the next several weeks and months as we work together during this project. But I did want to share an update with you. Vicki's mom is very unwell, and she did have a very rough day today with mom, and so she's going to be here in a little bit, and of course absolutely here in spirit. But I just wanted to let us know that she won't be fully available on this meeting today, but we wish her well, and of course send lots of love and prayers. So please do keep that within just us and within our forum. It's not something that that she wants for us to share at all in any capacity publicly, but please do keep her and her mom in thoughts and prayers. But you do see Vicki's picture is here, and she is here, and hopefully we'll hear from her in a little bit. But please do know that these are wonderful teacher meetings for us to have an opportunity to meet. We actually will be meeting every week throughout the semester. There'll be some weeks where we may take a break if it's spring break and things like that, but for the most part we'll be meeting every week, and so we'll get to know each other really well and hear all about Rob's clay structures on his head from Jamaica. But I'm going to share my screen with you folks, and let me know when you can see it. As I mentioned, can you guys see my screen okay? Okay, perfect. And video signs or chat responses or coming off of mute to share anything that you'd like to share at any point are all good things to do in these meetings. The chat room, for anybody that has not seen it yet, is a little, on the bottom of your screen, there's a little chat button that you can click on. It opens up a chat box, and you can message somebody individually, or you can message the entire group and share certain things as we go through these meetings. One fun thing that we like to start off with is actually chat or typing into the chat your Twitter handle. We are very big on Twitter, as are hundreds and thousands and millions of educators across the world. So hopefully you are on Twitter as well. Type in your Twitter handle into the chat box, and Doreen, who is our amazing project manager, will make sure that she tags you in all of the tweets and all of the wonderful things that we do. So Rob has put that in there, and we see those coming in. So that's always wonderful. As I was mentioning, this is the third year of our project of Mad About Mattering, and Vicki has been just such a wonderful influence and inspiration to us to keep this going and to have this be an opportunity to connect students around the country, around the world, to really brainstorm things together and have amazing learning opportunities. One of the things that we, and I think we're all in, everybody can hear, so we're all good with that. A couple things that we're going to do in terms of our agenda today are do introductions. Of course, we want to make sure that we can all formally meet each other. We have some old faces and some new faces and everything in between. So we want to make sure that we can all formally meet each other. We'll do a little bit of a project overview so we remember and know what this project is about and what we're going to be doing, what we're setting ourselves up for this year. We'll go through in depth a little bit with the tools that we're going to be using during this project, both teacher-only tools and also student-specific tools. Of course, teachers will be across their student tools as well, but we want to just make sure that everybody is in sync on what we're going to be using and how we're going to be using those various tools. We also will talk about some habits that we want to develop and cultivate in ourselves as teachers and in our students during this project, because as any teacher that has done a project like this can tell you, this is a whole new way of collaborating, a whole new way of doing work that really does require us to behave in certain ways and have certain habits that are setting us out for success as we're collaborating and working with each other around the country. Specifically, all of the teachers, and I know not all of us are here today, but all of the teachers that we'll see on our weekly meetings week over week are going to be co-teaching the entire student group that exists in this project. So it's not just me as a teacher working with my group of 10 or 15 kids, but it's me as a teacher co-teaching with 5 other teachers and teaching all 300 or 400 of our kids together. And that's a very exciting part of what we're doing. So we want to develop those habits. We'll talk about scheduling and dates and what's coming up next, and specifically talk about what the plan is for this week and what we need to make sure we can get done in this first week as we kick off the project. So with that, we wanted to do a little bit of a star marker game. So I know we are all over the country, and Rob, you're not too far, considering currently you're in Toronto. We'll actually find a star for you, not too far on that map. But when you get back to Paraguay, we'll add in an international map as well. But I wanted to spend a quick minute adding stars for each of us that are here in the room, and for us to see how many different places we are. So Rob, we'll start with you. I know you said you're in Toronto right now, so is that about as right as I'm gonna get? Yeah, okay. I am in DC, so I'm gonna place myself right over here. Oh no, that didn't work correctly. Hang on.
I'm just over New York.
Just delete it and re-enter it. Just do X, Control X, and then Control V after you move it.
Okay. I think we got it. Okay. Rebecca, you are in Delaware, right? Delaware, right there. Not too far. Not too far. Greg, where are you?
I'm on the western side of Pennsylvania. Oh, you're a little geographically challenged there, aren't you, Alifia? More closer to Ohio.
Hang on a second. Hang on. It's there we go. There we go.
Well, she's in Erie.
Yeah, where all the snow is. Thanks.
Yeah.
Kimberly and Doreen are in Atlanta. Lisa, where are you? You said you're in Maryland.
I'm between where you have the Erie star and your star in the very thinnest part of Maryland.
Are you near Cumberland?
Yes, 9 miles.
Oh, okay.
Close enough?
Wherever you want to put it, that's fine.
Okay, Vicky is in southern Georgia, so we're gonna place Vicky in southern Georgia. I think she's right about here, in Camilla. Maybe that's about right. Who am I missing?
Ty, who is in Baltimore.
Yes, Ty is in Baltimore.
I want to see her do this one.
I don't know if I can stand to watch.
Greg, would you like to come on and place our stars here for us?
I can't. I don't have that. You're on your own.
So he's like right about there?
Right above you. Yep.
That works. Yeah. Okay, so
Good.
I think that's everybody. And this is what's really interesting is just looking at our Madlearn team. We are, and this is one of the things that is so critical with a project like this. A company like ours, we are a technology company. We have our team that consists of folks that are in 4 different cities and 2 countries. So we're all over the place and still able to work very effectively, in a very productive fashion virtually, and of course in person when we meet in person. And this is a really big part of what we work with our students on, and what we want to enable our students to do is how to work virtually and how to work with people who aren't in the same room as you. So as you can see, we have a nice mix of folks from across mostly the Eastern Seaboard, but we may have a few more folks that are hopping on over the next week or two as well. But it is really exciting to see what's possible when we bring people together from all over and work together. So in terms of our Mad About Mattering core team, these are everybody that is here is on the call today. And I would love to start with some introductions for folks who are on our Mad About Mattering team, and then actually hand over so that we can do that same thing with our teachers as well. Vicki, are you here? Would you like to say a little bit about your wonderful self and your wonderful experiences? Okay, I will share with us a little bit about Vicki. So Vicki Davis is a phenomenal classroom teacher, director of technology, keynote speaker, podcaster. She has a wonderful podcast that's called The 10-Minute Teacher. If you guys have not checked it out, I strongly recommend you do. It's a very good, quick little snippet that she does every day. Is that right, Lisa?
She does Monday through Friday. I remember when she started that, I said, "You're crazy."
So it's a 10-minute snippet with a teacher that she talks about different ideas and different ways of integrating technology in the classroom and integrating new ideas into what you're doing. So definitely check it out. But she was actually one of the very first teachers to start MadLearn when MadLearn started about 4 years ago. And she did the first year with her students in her classroom, and ever since then we have been doing this global project as well, where she's been connecting her students with other students around the country, around the world, to build and collaborate on building apps together. So that is Vicki. She is absolutely wonderful, and when you hear from her next week, hopefully you'll see what I mean. I'm Alethea Bhatia. I am the CEO of MadLearn. I'm a former educator myself, and have been an edupreneur now for about 6 years, and I love every minute of it. It is something that I hope that I can inspire in a lot more of our students, and how to think about entrepreneurship and apppreneurship, and really just taking any idea that they have and turning it into something that can help and benefit more people around the world. So that is my passion. I've been in education ever since I was in the 3rd grade, when my 3rd grade teacher told me I should be a mentor to the other kids in the class and teach them the spelling stuff that we had on a test that day. I think that's when it hit me that I really wanted to be in education. So that's me. Greg, I'd love for you to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and all the great things that you do here at MadLearn.
Well, thank you. As the sign says, I'm the Director of Curriculum and Implementation. So all things having to do with making sure your students understand how to use the MadLearn program as part of Mad About Mattering is my responsibility. It's very nice to know that I'm probably the only person here who has met everybody here face-to-face, at least online. And that will be true, I'm sure, for even people we haven't brought on board yet. Because I'm in charge of onboarding and training and everything else that goes with the MadLearn program itself. So anything that comes up that you have questions about related to things related to the platform, anything related to the design process or anything, I'm happy to answer those questions for you.
Thank you, Greg. That is wonderful. And Greg actually is our most veteran MadLearn team member. And so he's been with us pretty much since day one of MadLearn, and I'm so glad that he's been on our journey with us for the last 4 years. So that's Greg. Kimberly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
After you take yourself off mute, Kimberly.
Okay, I got to do this again. I just sent a Twitter, and I am so excited.
Yep. You sent a tweet. You sent a tweet.
Oh. Well, in my tweet, I said, I am Twitter dangerous. I should have said tweet dangerous, but I tried to include everybody who put their tweet in the chat. So who I am is Mad About Mattering's biggest cheerleader. So I'm so excited. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you, Kimberly. And Kimberly is very modest when she talks about herself. So I have to add a little bit more. Kimberly has been a phenomenal educator herself and school administrator herself for many years, and has been on the commercial side of education now for quite a while. And she brings a lot of amazing expertise in understanding education and schools and how we can really integrate well into what our schools are needing. And so that's what she brings to our team and to our wonderfulness. And we love that she's here. So thank you, Kimberly.
Y'all have to make sure that you like it and forward it so I can stay encouraged.
I'm glad. We will like and favorite and retweet your tweet. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, excellent. Lisa, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been a part of this project since day one and also have worked with Vicki for years and years and years. Tell us a little bit about yourself and some snippet amazing stories about Vicki.
Oh my. I drink coffee. That's about all I do. I'm here and I'm there, and if you need help, I'm probably going to be able to help you. And stories about Vicki? Well, I tell you, she issued a challenge to me last winter about this time. She said, I'm going to be in DC the weekend you're going to graduate if you make it. So that to me was my chapter 5 kick in the pants, and I did it.
And Lisa is a PhD. She became a doctor in the summer of last year, and it was a wonderful, wonderful celebration. So congratulations, Lisa.
And she knows nothing more than she did before.
Doreen, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about Mad About Mattering and how you've been involved.
Hi everyone, so my name is Doreen Bandua and I'm originally from Ghana, West Africa. I'm project manager for Mad About Mattering. I'm here to ensure that the project runs smoothly from start to finish. If you have any challenges, if you're facing any problems, I am your go-to person. If I cannot help you, I will direct you to whoever is supposed to help you will be able to help you out. So that's mainly what I do, and that's who I am here. I don't know if I left anything out, Lethea, but
no, thank you, Doreen, and I will translate that as when Doreen sends you something, you have to respond. That's what she means. Hello, Ty. How are you? It's good to see you.
I'm good. Good to see you too.
I'm so glad you're able to join us, Ty. We actually just started off with introduction, so I'm glad you were able to hop in just in time. And we are recording the session, so you'll be able to watch everything that you've missed. So not to worry at all. But you did join just in time for our teacher introduction. So Junior is one of our teachers who is not able to be here today, but and of course we did hear from Vicki, and so I can fill in for Vicki, and I'll pretend to be Vicki and share a little bit about everything that she would do from an introduction perspective. But after I pretend to be Vicki and introduce myself, I would love to hand over to Rob and then maybe Rebecca and Ty, so you guys can introduce yourselves to the group as well. How does that sound? Excellent, excellent. So I am Vicki Davis for the moment. I teach at Westwood Schools in Camilla, Georgia, which is about 3 hours south of Atlanta. I'm the director of technology at Westwood. I teach several computer science classes, and I know a whole lot of other things, but I don't know all of them at the moment. But I do have 9th and 10th graders for this project that are in my computer science classes, and they are the students who are going to be participating in Mad About Mattering this year. I believe I have about 60 students this year. Doreen, correct me if I'm wrong. How many does Vicki have? You can maybe fill that in the chat for me. But this project has been something that I've been very excited about since the very beginning. It is It is something that I have done with apps for the first time, but I have done over 30 different global collaboration projects in my career, and it is what I do, it's what I love, and I have been excited to do this with app development in the last 3 years as we experimented with Mad About Mattering. And I don't have any questions at the moment because I'm pretending to be Vicky. But I just wanted to make sure that all of us could know who Vicky is in case we didn't already. And she is a phenomenal part of our team and our lead teacher for this project. So I would love to hand over to Rob. Rob, introduce yourself. Tell us all about you.
Okay, thanks, Alafia. I am Rob Young, and when I'm not letting my nieces turn my head into a living sculpture, I'm teaching computer science and math at Colegio Lumen in Paraguay. I've been there for about 5 years, and this is my second year with the project. We had I guess it was a sink or swim kind of situation last year. I started a bit late, and we tried our best to sort of get caught up and get everything finished at the end. But I think we managed to pull something together, and I really believe in this project. I think it's a tremendous collaborative effort, which I think both teachers and students benefit from, and I really enjoyed it. Do I have to say anything about myself? Does anyone have any questions?
Rob, tell us some questions that you have at the moment as we kick off the project today. Are there any questions that you have or things that you're most excited about? Right. So as just before the meeting, I looked at the eligibility criteria, and I did notice that we need 3 hours a week. Was that correct? I think I can offer 2. I don't know if that's right on the borderline. Anyway, we can discuss that. I guess maybe in private, maybe with Kimberly, to see exactly what arrangements we can work. I was going to say too, right now I've got 2 elective classes. I think last year we kind of realized that the standard sort of once a week computer science classes that my school has was probably not quite enough. But I am teaching the electives group, and I think they really enjoyed it last year. Hopefully we can do the same thing next year. And if things don't work out, I can offer myself as sort of a, mentor, collaborator kind of go-to teacher as well. You guys can draw on me for advice, I guess, for South America and for other things too. Don't ask me to speak Spanish because I don't speak it very well, but Thank you, Rob. We are so glad that you're joining us again for the project this year. And yes, we absolutely must figure out a way to have your students be involved. So we will work through that and make sure we can make that happen. But we're glad that you're back this year.
Glad to be back.
Excellent. Thank you, Rob. Rebecca, tell us a little bit about yourself. Oh, hang on. I think you may be on mute.
Got it. Okay.
There you go.
I'm apparently slightly technologically challenged. Let me close the door. So my name is Rebecca Collins, and I am the interim executive director / principal / vice principal / head of school / pretty much everything else for a small charter school in Delaware called Design Lab. I don't actually teach right now, but I will be teaching just this course. So the way my kids join this course is we do all of our extracurricular activities during the school day. So we have a designated hour during every day for clubs and self-directed learning and things like that. So students will self-select into my class, either because they really like app development and computer science or because they really like me. Could go either way. I don't know. And so we joined because Alethea and I were connected by a fellow colleague named Kendall Massett, and our kind of overarching educational visions align pretty perfectly with what we do at our school and what MadLearn does in general. So I don't have any questions yet, but I promise you I will as we go, like a lot.
Excellent, excellent. We love questions. They are an integral part of everything that we do, and we're all always learning, right? So we have to always have questions. So I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Rebecca. That was really great to hear. Ty, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, everyone. So my name's Ty. I am the Director of Technology at Gilman School in Baltimore, Maryland. It's my second year at Gilman. Previously, I was the Director of Technology at Far Hills Country Day School in New Jersey for 3 years. And at Gilman, we don't have much of our own computer science curriculum per se. We have a really cool tri-school community with 2 sister schools that are right across the street from us on either side of our campus, Bryn Mawr School and Roland Park Country School. And Bryn Mawr is really the school that kind of offers a lot of the computer science courses that both their students and our students and the Roland Park Country School girls take. And so what I'm trying to use the Mad About Mattering and Mad Learn platform to do is really get some computer science, get some app making, get some design kind of thinking work with our early kids, usually our 9th and 10th grade boys, get them involved in it and thinking along those lines so that if they do decide to take some other computer science courses, whether it's an AP course or something like that at Bryn Mawr, they will have had some type of introduction to not so much the coding as much as just the thinking process involved in it. So looking forward to really helping our boys collaborate with other students that are not in the same classroom as they are, and really giving them an opportunity again to work on their design skills, to work on their conceptual skills, to work on their kind of their iterative processing skills through this platform. So it's going to be a club for us pretty much a couple days a week in the afternoons. I already have about a dozen boys who signed up for it when I shared it with them right before we went for winter break. So it's really exciting to get that going. And we're kind of in the process of turning our whole IT department and perception and image around. And this is certainly going to help in that regard. So I think overall folks are really excited about it and looking forward to see what we're going to do. I'm not a teacher by any stretch of the imagination, at least I don't think I am. Others may say otherwise, but I don't think I am. So this is a bit of an adventure for me, but it's something that I'm looking forward to.
We are so glad to have you, Ty, and we're so glad that you're spearheading some of that innovation and some of that difference in thought that you want to bring to the technology department and to the school in general. So we're very glad to have you. Ty, I have to ask, and folks, this is because I have actually visited Ty at Gilman School in Baltimore, so I do know this. I have to ask, Ty, are you at your standing desk?
No, I'm actually in my basement at home.
I was about to tell everybody how cool your standing desk is. Ty has this really cool standing desk that I wanted to replicate, but
love my standing desk.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Ty. Thank you. And I think we got everybody that's on. Doreen, did I miss anybody in terms of introductions? Because I can't see everybody when I'm sharing screen, so I just wanted to confirm. If I did miss anybody, please do let me know. Thank you, everybody. It's so good to meet all of you, and welcome again to Mad About Mattering. The project is a project to model compassion-driven innovation in a mobile world beyond classroom walls. That is really the core and the crux of what this project is in a nutshell. It's a million more things, but really we're really trying to model compassion-driven innovation and to have it be focused on mobile because it's what our kids get, and have it be something that kids are doing across and beyond classroom walls. So that is our overall goal. Some of the aims that we have for the project, and I know, Rob, these are things that you know already because you've participated in this before, but I just wanted to run through this with us quickly so we can remind ourselves of what the aims are of this project. There's 5 really big rocks that we think about. We think about social entrepreneurship. How can we help students make the world a better place by tackling problems that matter? Collaborative leadership, to help students become collaborative leaders and know how to work with and on teams. Creative innovation, which is really focused on helping students become inventors and creators as opposed to just consumers. and creating a model that others can follow. Hopefully this is something that we can share with hundreds of teachers and classrooms across the world, and help them see how they can teach STEM in a different way, and teach it in a way that is relevant to our students today. And the very last one is my favorite, which is to really do work that matters in the classroom. Not just a project for a project's sake, not just an assignment for an assignment's sake, but something that the kids can really connect to and really participate in profound ways. So in terms of how the project works, and this is what we're going to be working through the entire semester, the first thing is already done, is identifying the cohort of teachers and students who are going to be participating this year. So we have five classrooms that are going to be participating this year. Our student numbers are something that we need to finalize, and it's going to be part of our discussion, and part of the work that we do this week is understanding and finalizing our schedules, our student numbers, things like that. The second one is a teacher kickoff meeting, which we're all in right now. After our teacher kickoff meeting, we really get started with the wiki, which we will show you about, and we will teach you how to use, and it is essentially a place, the wiki. Has everybody, or does anybody know what a wiki is, a wiki space? Has anybody ever had experience with that before? Okay, I see Rebecca saying yes, Rob, yes. I see some other, I'm not sure. Okay, so we have a little bit of familiarity, but the wiki space is what we're going to use in the initial part of the project to have students get in, meet each other, be talking to each other, be collaborating on pages that they're developing for their app ideas. So that's going to be the initial part of the project. And actually this is slightly switched, but we are going to have a student handshake, just like we have a teacher kickoff meeting like this. One of the things that we learned from prior projects was having the students meet live in this fashion on video and on have a collective get together virtually is really effective in the beginning of the project. So we're going to do that this year, where the students have a virtual meeting, a virtual handshake, we'll figure out what we want to call it, but essentially a time where we can get hopefully all of the kids together and all of the teachers together and be on one big virtual meeting like this, so that the students can meet each other and actually have not necessarily put a face to a name, but know that there's human beings behind each of those people that they are connecting and collaborating with online. So we will have that happen hopefully by the end of January. And then we'll start to, in the wiki, we'll start to develop ideas, start to develop teams, which students want to be on which app teams based on what their interests are, based on what the criteria are for each team to be, to be green lighted or be passed or be successful. The kids create their apps together. We have some voting that happens. This year we actually have a really interesting and exciting way to do our voting. We're going to use some really fun global tools to have people around the world vote and judge the apps that students are creating. And then we have our finalists that compete in May or not compete, but they're pitching at a virtual Shark Tank, where they will be pitching their app ideas, and we'll have winners that are selected and judges that are going to be a part of that process as well. So that's the project in a nutshell. And Rob, I do see that your students are not going to be available until mid-Feb. That's absolutely fine. We'll just figure out a date that works for everybody, and we'll have that be the student meeting time. So no worries. In terms of our theme, so one of the things that we have found to be really helpful in the last 2 years that we've done this project is having a theme and a sort of a guiding question or a guiding principle for the project. One year we did something called Heartbreaks, which was what makes your heart break, and what's something that hurts you or bothers you or that you're very affected by, and how can you build something that helps solve that in some capacity. The second year we did, and this was actually a suggestion from the students, so we did, instead of doing heartbreaks, the second year we did heartbeats. What makes your heart beat? What drives you? What makes you passionate? What makes you get up in the morning? What do you love that you want to share with the world and help expand in some capacity? So those are two things we've had in the past. One of the things that we wanted to do today, and I'd love for you to, just come off of mute or maybe type into the chat and share some ideas that you think might be fun for us to have as our theme for this year. We don't have to finalize that today. It absolutely can be something that we think about, we ruminate a little bit. These are some ideas that we just put down for us to see. the idea of courageous commitments, right? How can you be courageous in what you're thinking about and actually make a commitment to change it or to fix it or to solve it in some capacity? There's another idea that's, don't just stand up, but do something about it. It's not stand up, speak up, but it's really, how can you see something that needs to be changed or fixed and actually do something with that? Those are some ideas. Love to think about this further and put some ideas into the chat, also into Slack, which I'll tell you about in just a second. But please do share some ideas of what you think would be a powerful theme for us to follow and to all be a part of and really be committed to as the driving force in our work this semester. And yes, absolutely. Please take time to process, think about it. Not something that we will finalize today, but I did want to share this with all of us as sort of a little bit of a bug in our ear so we can start to think about what that might be. And all of us, you guys are the teachers participating this year, so definitely having something that you come up with that you all like and can, really get excited about, and that's what we can finalize as our theme. So those are some things to think about. One really, really important part of this project is teacher communication. And Rob, you can back me up on this and you can share some examples from last year if you like, but it is so, so essential for us as the teacher group to, and regardless of what our regular hat is in our quote day job, right? With this project, we're all co-teaching these students together and making sure that we can be very, very active with communication with each other. So there's a few things that we will be, sorry, that's a little cut off, but there's a few things that are critical for us to know from a communication perspective. The first one is email is important. It's not dead. It is very, very important. Doreen will be sending things weekly that are things like recordings to meetings, survey links, documents that you need for your students, reminders on different things. When you get an email from her, her email is doreen@mad-learn.com. Please whitelist her if you haven't seen her emails yet, or if they're going to your spam, please add her to your contact list and make sure that she's whitelisted. You get her emails. But when you get an email from Doreen, please do reply all. Don't just reply to Doreen. Of course, if it's something personal, private, you need to share with her, please do. But in general, as a rule of thumb, reply all so the other teachers know as well that you got it, you have a question, you can't make it, whatever that is, please do respond to Doreen. So that's one, is email. The second one is Google Drive. We will create a Google Drive folder that I've put the link in right here, and we'll send these slides to you after the meeting. But there is a Google Drive folder which will house all of the documents that you'll need to refer to at some point or another during the project. So anytime you think of, where do I find that thing? Hopefully it's either in Google Drive, or if it's communication through, through the teachers, it's going to be in our Slack channel. So please do make sure when you get that invitation to this Google Drive folder, you save it, bookmark the link, add it to your own drive if you'd like. But that will be a place that Doreen puts in documents throughout the course of the semester. And then the last and most important communication tool for teachers is Slack. Does everybody know what Slack is, or does yes? Okay, good. I see Rebecca's thumbs up. Rob, I know you've got it. Ty, do you know Slack? Are you familiar with Slack? Yes, perfect. Okay, so we're all Slack pros. Doreen has already, or will shortly, be sending you an invite to our Mad About Mattering Slack channel. The first project that all of us have this week is getting on Slack and making sure we can introduce ourselves on Slack and say hello, get comfortable with it. It will be a place for you to instantly ask anybody questions, and it won't just be our MadLearn team that's responding, it'll be other teachers, it'll be conversations around things like what's the theme for this year. Any kind of back channel communication between the teachers will be happening on Slack. So please do, the most effective thing that I've found, we use Slack for our company as well, the most effective thing for me is to have it in two places. It's an app on my phone, and you can turn on or off notifications based on what you prefer, and it's also an app on my desktop. So I've got that, I get my notifications, and I know when somebody needs me in whatever capacity. So we'll be using Slack, and that'll be a very good communication mechanism for us. Questions on this so far, guys? Good? Okay, great. Perfect. So I'm going to quickly go through some of the project-related tools that we'll be using. We'll go through in depth each of these each week as we go when we start to use them. So we don't need to go in depth on them now, but we will be starting off with a wiki. Teachers, we're going to get into the wiki this week. And then next week, we'll start off with students starting to get into the wiki. And I know, Rob, your school starts a little bit later, so we'll talk about the timeline and figure that out. But we will be using a wiki, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of a tutorial, and maybe Lisa or Doreen can lead us on a tutorial with how to use wiki and how to get in correctly. We will also be using Trello for the students from a project management perspective. Now, a lot of times you may think of a project like this and think, wow, there's so many different tools. I wish it was just one thing that we could use to, to do everything. And the reality is, even if we had all of these things in MadLearn itself, that's not a true real world experience for the students. As a company, as a team, as any individual in the workplace, you have to use multiple tools, and you have to know what to use for different things and be able to find good tools for yourself. So Trello is a very, very good and proven effective task management, project management tool. It's an industry standard in a lot of different ways. It's something that is a very well-used and well-tested product. So we want to teach our kids how to use it. So we're going to be using Trello. And that will be where the students actually connect and communicate with each other. They assign tasks to themselves or to each other. They're commenting and talking to each other through Trello. So that will be the most widely used student communication tool. Last year, we actually tried using Asana, and it did not work for the purposes of what we needed it to. They advertised one thing, and then it actually did something very different. So we had to learn from that and change strategy. But we have used Trello before, and it's worked really well. So that's what we'll be using for the students. And then, of course, once they've formed teams, once they've created plans, then they come into MadLearn and they start actually building out their mind maps and building out their apps in MadLearn itself. And hopefully all of you have taken a look at MadLearn and logged in and poked around and seen what it is or what's new since the last time you looked at it. But of course, MadLearn is one of our project tools. So those are a quick overview of that. I want to quickly, these are some habits that Vicki wrote out for us in terms of really, really critical teacher habits to be thinking about with this project. They're simple, but when we think about them and we actually see them written out, we remember to do them. So these are some things for you to know to do and to build into your habit repertoire this semester. Check your emails regularly, at least once a day. Be on Slack every day, multiple times a day. And if you aren't, for whatever reason, go back and read the history so you can see what you missed and you know what's happening. You're in the loop. Respond to emails, even if there's nothing for you to do, so that people know you're there. You're safe, you're alive, you're in it. So please do respond, and feel free to get to know the other teachers either in the general channel on Slack, or if you want to individually Slack a teacher, get to know them. In some cases, it's even possible for the teachers to meet in person. If that happens, that's really cool too. Conferences are really good places to do that. Sometimes that happens throughout the year, but feel free to get to know each other. And when you're going to be out, either for vacation, for school, or personal reasons, or whatever that is, if you are out, if you're not available at any point, please let everybody know. And the last but not least, but the most important one, is attend the teacher meetings weekly, because that is where you'll get everything that you need to know for that week and be able to have a successful week with your students. We do try very, very hard. It doesn't always work, but we try very, very hard to make sure our teacher meetings are kept to the 1 hour. We need to finalize on what time we'll be having them every week, but whatever time we have them, when we start right on time and we end right on time. And that's just to make sure that we can all plan for it, be there, and then know that it's going to end in an hour. So having said that, I know I only have 9 minutes to go, so I'm going to go quick. These are some student habits that that also Vicki wrote out for us to think about what students really need to start to learn how to do once they get started with the project. These will be in the slide deck when Doreen shares it with us, so please do look at these. We can discuss questions on this next week as well. This is a really big one that we need to do today and we need to figure out. So ideally Monday, at some point in the afternoon, probably post 4 p.m. once people are done with school. We want to have a weekly time that is on Monday for us to have a 1-hour teacher meeting. So we get together, we discuss what happened last week, we plan for the next week, we make sure everybody's in sync, and we get going. Sometimes we can end before the hour, sometimes it may be a little bit over the hour, but the goal is to have this teacher meeting every week so we are all on track throughout the semester. So can you guys tell us is 6 p.m. Monday doable for the most part throughout the semester? And is that a time that we can confirm and keep? Or are there some conflict in terms of, baseball games or basketball games or, whatever that might be a conflict? Rebecca, Rob, Ty, tell us about 6 p.m. Monday or 5 p.m. or 4 p.m.
So Mondays are really tough all around here because we have all of our leadership and board meetings on Monday afternoons, but it is okay. 5 p.m. would be way better than 6 p.m.
Okay.
Because board meetings start at 6.
Okay.
And so I can make 5 p.m. on Mondays work with the understanding that there's just a few I won't be able to be there.
Okay. And does 5 p.m., I see that Ty and Rob, does 5 p.m. work for you gentlemen?
Yeah, that works for me too.
It does? Okay. Rob, what about you?
Yep, I was just typing in. Yeah, it should be okay. That would be 7 my time, and I think that's okay.
Sure.
Should work. Yep.
Okay. So, Doreen, let's finalize 5 p.m. Monday. I believe that works for Vicky as well because she had said anytime after 4 p.m. But just confirm with Vicky and Junior as well, and let's settle on 5 p.m. Mondays every Monday through the rest of the semester. And of course, some weeks different people of us will not be able to make it for whatever reasons. Just let people know so they know who's coming, who's not. But 5 p.m. Monday, we want to try to be there as much as possible. Okay, that's our weekly meeting, virtual student meeting. So this one is one that we are going to actually discuss on Slack. The goal of this is to figure out a time for all of our students to get together in a meeting just like this. So you'll have to be at school, the kids will have to be available, and you'll have to have some sort of a computer screen monitor set up so they can see other kids. But thinking about what are some potential times where we might be able to bring as many of us together as possible, and kind of build that in. No, Tom is not participating this year. There may be a slight chance that he is, but he mentioned something about a schedule shift. So Tom from Australia is not. Okay, so thinking about a student meeting time, it's unlikely that we'll be able to have 100% of student participation all on one day and time that we find, but let's try to get close. And if we need to have 2 of them, maybe we do that. We have two of these meetings, and whoever can make whichever ones, and we kind of try to do it that way, right? So Doreen, if you can please lead that discussion on Slack, let's try to get some dates for the student virtual meeting finalized, and if it needs to be in February because of Rob's students, let's just figure out what those, maybe we do one in January and then another one in February, and we kind of try to figure out maximum participation that way. Okay, so be thinking about that, a time and place, or options for times and places where you and your students can be present and be in front of a big screen. Okay, next big thing for us to have today is our schedules. So Rebecca, I know you sent this to us. Thank you so much for that. If you, Ty and Rob, can let us know what your spring break or holiday, any holidays that you have through the semester, what are days that you and your students are going to be not available? Typically spring break or winter break is a big week that, and they never line up. So schools are out at all different times. We just want to know what those are so we can build a calendar. But if you can please post that into Slack as well. Tell us what your spring break times are, what are holidays that you have, and the really big important one, because we need to plan backwards from this, is when does school end for you for the year? Or when does testing start? Basically, when do the kids stop available during the semester so that we can plan for the virtual finale Shark Tank and make sure all students can be available for that before any kids have to leave for the summer break. Okay, so you have, oh, that's right, Rob, you have a Holy Week at Easter, right?
Yeah, it's really just 3 days. It's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that we're off. But we don't have a spring break, so that leaves us. I think what we did last year was our kids tried to kind of pick up the slack as others weren't working, and we kind of all well, it was a staggered schedule, so we were always keeping going while we were.
And just so we all know, when the spring break time hits, it will be staggered. It's very rare for any two schools to have the same week off. And so there will be a week where Vicky's kids are off, but Rebecca, your kids are in, or Ty, your kids are off, and Rob, your kids are in. However that staggers, we'll just know who's in, who's out, and then the other kids will essentially, like you said, pick up the heavy lifting during that week. So, but the important thing is for us to know what those schedules are. So please do type it into the chat, send it to Doreen, put it on Slack, however you want to get it to us, just get it to us so Doreen can compile that and make sure we have a good calendar in place. Okay, great. The next thing, and we'll talk about this actually a little bit more next Monday, but I just wanted to have this in here, and Vicky wanted to make sure we have this in here as well, are just some reminders on digital citizenship that we want to share with our students and us remember as teachers as well. When we share the slides, please do feel free. This is a link, and Lisa, if you don't mind posting this link in the chat box so folks can have that as well. This is a link for, just for us to kind of remember and remind ourselves of things that are important from a digital citizenship perspective, because this entire project is digital and online. There are things that you want to be mindful of and that you want to make sure your students are also mindful of. So please do take a look at that. Vicky's going to address this a little bit more with us next week as well, so don't worry. This is big picture, kind of what the next 5 months look like, what we want to try to accomplish and get done in January, February, March, April, and May. May will really be the first week of May is when we'll have the Shark Tank kickoff that happens. So that's kind of working backwards from there. At some point, we need to figure out that date. But in January, for the most part, we want to have our teacher kickoff, our surveys. We do a bunch of surveys, pre-start, post project, sometimes in the middle as well, but really just to gather data about our student mindset, our teacher mindset, how we're coming into this, and making sure that we can set this up for success. So Doreen will be sending you some survey links. Please do fill out the teacher one yourself and get the student one to your students so the students can fill out their surveys as well. Look at getting on the wiki and figuring out our student handshake meeting. So those are the big things for January, and that's all we're going to focus on right now. And then we'll get into the rest of the project as we progress. The last big thing that I would like to leave us all with is our assignment for this week. And most of it is teacher focused. There's not a whole lot, besides the student survey, which you can have your kids do this week, there's not a whole lot else for the students this week. This is really a teacher kickoff and a teacher week. So these are the things that we need to get done this week. The first one is Slack. Join Slack and post all of these things onto Slack. The second one is join the wiki, and you'll get an invitation to the wiki as well. And there's a little mini assignment for you to do on the wiki. It's a simple thing, but you just want to go in there and do that assignment. You want to be in Madlearn. If you don't have your Madlearn login yet for any reason, please let us know and we'll get that to you. But get into Madlearn, make sure you look around and get comfy with what Madlearn is and how to use it. Get your students to fill out the pre-start surveys that we're going to send you. Of course, you fill out the teacher survey and be on our meeting next week at 5 p.m. on Monday. So those are not too much, but those are the things that we need to do this week. Again, these slides will be sent to us shortly after this meeting, so you can go through all of this in detail and remind yourself about what needs to be done this week. So the teacher assignment on the wiki is as follows. You go to the wiki, you join it, you go to a participating schools page, which you'll see on the wiki, and add information about your school, about yourself, about your school. And so we're setting that page up as a page where students know who else is in the project and how to address them appropriately. So that is the assignment for the wiki. Again, you'll have these slides so you can come in whenever you have a few minutes, you can come into the wiki and go ahead and do that teacher assignment. And I think that was everything. So I was trying really hard to make sure we finish right on time, and I think we're going to do it. Any quick questions before we adjourn? I know Doreen wants to make sure we take a picture because it is customary to do a screenshot of the Brady Bunch. Oh, you guys, this is Zoom. This is the tool that we'll be using every week for our teacher meetings. At the top right of the screen, there is a button that says Gallery View or Speaker View. If you click on Gallery View, you'll see everybody as the Brady Bunch, and that's my favorite view of seeing all of us on the project. So Greg says not so much, but if you'd like, you can see it that way. And we want to take a picture and make sure we're all
I was just waving to Lisa, but she didn't pick up on it.
Oh. Lisa, tell us about what happened the first year with Nick.
We were in a different house, and I was on the laptop like I am now. I had turned it like this, and Nick was there, and he had the headset on. So I did not clue into the fact you were taking a picture. And his hand, he was like, I just thought he was being nice. I didn't know. Until afterwards, I saw these pictures. I'm like, oh, there's Nick.
And this is the picture that Lisa's talking about. This is
Yep.
Nick right here.
Yeah, that's Nick.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do our customary picture for our teacher kickoff meeting. Everybody wave. We'll do one wave and then do one funky. How about that? Okay, so everybody wave. Say hi. Doreen, you got it? Okay, now everybody has to do something fun and totally whatever floats their boat. So,
Everybody point to Lisa from your screen. It didn't work. She's somewhere different on everybody's screen.
She's different on everyone's screen.
I learn something new every day.
That was a great idea, Rebecca. I love it. Hopefully, Doreen, you got some good fun pictures. But any quick questions, guys, before we adjourn? I know we went through a lot during this meeting, and there's we wanted to have a nice slower initiation week where we can just kind of get comfortable and get started with some things. But any questions?
No, all good on this end.
Okay, great. Please do, when they come to your mind, when you think of things, please do post them into Slack, and we will all be there and able to respond pretty quickly. Normally, you'll see responses within a few minutes. So we will see you guys on Slack, and then again at 5 p.m. next Monday.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for being here, everyone. Bye.
Tell Scott hi for me, Rob.
I will.
right,
I'm sure he says hi back, Greg.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Doreen, quick question. Does the chat get saved as well? It does not? Oh, was there any, I wasn't able to fully man the chat. No, you're on mute, Doreen.
Okay. No, but you didn't miss anything in the chat. I kept responding, so that was good. And Lisa also kept responding to some of the questions. So.
Okay, perfect. Because I saw a ton of activity.
Well, the problem though is that I kept getting kicked off Zoom, so my recording is choppy. I don't know if Kimberly was able to.
Kimberly had it, I think.
Can we always have a backup just in case? Just in case.
Hit stop recording. Oh, you're on mute still.
So now I'm not real sure how to do this, so I need y'all to walk me through it. So I'm going to stop the recording, right? And then it's supposed